He's Mike Florio, runs the website ProFootballTalk.com, and you can see him every evening, Monday through Friday, on Pro Football Talk on NBCSN at 5:30 Eastern. What do you want to know right now, Mike?
Well, I really want to know if somebody did get that tape. I really want to know if that AP report is true. We assume it is because it's the Associated Press. I think you could probably poke holes in the AP report, one source, and is this just law enforcement reacting to the NFL dumping on it for the past few days? I really want to know if that report's true. But then I look at it and I say, do we even need to know that that report is true? When you have Ozzie Newsome, the GM of the Ravens, come out yesterday and say Ray Rice did not lie to us, that means the NFL already knew everything it needed to know without the videotape. It doesn't matter if it had the videotape. That's what's been lost in this whole question of whether they had the tape. They didn't need to have the tape. They knew or should have known or should have been able to recreate in their own minds what happened in that elevator if Ray Rice didn't lie. And so either way, not a good look. Grossly incompetent at best, clumsy cover-up at worst. Either way, not a good look.
I'm told that the NFL has still not told the NFL Players Association why Ray Rice has been suspended indefinitely.
Well, Dan, I think that if we look at what the commissioner said, because I thought the answer would be he lied to us. And we know from the Mike Vick case, the Saints Bounty case, you don't lie to the commissioner. If you lie to the commissioner, you are going to suffer the consequences heavily. And that's what I thought it was. Ray Rice lied to the commissioner. And then when you hear kind of vague comments like ambiguities and inconsistencies in the two interviews that he's done, no one's come out and said Ray Rice lied. When you have Ozzie Newsome come out and say Ray Rice didn't lie, well, Ray Rice was suspended twice for the same action. And even though he's the villain in all of this, every player has rights under the collective bargaining agreement. He's been punished twice for the same conduct. And I think it's just a matter of time before the NFL Players Association files a grievance challenging the termination of his employment and the indefinite suspension.
What do you think the owners are thinking right now?
How quickly can we make this all go away and go back to printing money? Can we please talk about football and not talk about this? How do we make this go away? Maybe if we hire an independent investigator, this will all go away.
But you can't have an independent investigator if you have two owners in the NFL part of that so-called independent investigation here.
They should have hired Paul Tagliabue. Now that would have been an independent investigation. That would have been a party if Paul Tagliabue came in and started turning over rocks. I mean, who better to figure out where and how to get to the truth than the guy who was the commissioner for 16 years before Roger Goodell? That's who they should have hired, either to do the investigation or to oversee the investigation.
What is the process to, I guess, suspend or even fire, censure?
It's all up to the owners. And they meet quarterly. I'm sure that on an issue like this, they could get everybody together for an emergency meeting if they had to.
I think they would move that up.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You're talking about getting 32 people on the same page. 32 people who are going to have very strong opinions, going in a bunch of different directions. They're all used to getting their own way. How do you get them all on the same page? How do you build a consensus? I mean, they need to have somebody sufficiently influential in ownership ranks to be the person who leads the charge against Roger Goodell. And I don't know that there's going to be anyone like that. So I don't know that there's going to be an effort against him. I think we have to see how this investigation plays out, how independent it really is, what it uncovers. And then I think it will be a case, if anything does happen, most of the owners are going to wake up one morning and realize, you know what, we just have no choice here but to make a change.
He's Mike Florio from Pro Football Talk, also Football Night in America, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. If you look back on the timeline here, where did this turn where the commissioner had the fork in the road and he went left instead of going right?
Not demanding to see the tape, assuming they didn't see the tape, the most important piece of evidence in this case. How can you not want to see the tape? How can there not be natural curiosity to see what's on the tape?
Why has nobody asked the commissioner? Why didn't you ask Ray Rice, his attorney, to see the videotape?
I don't know. Why didn't you ask the casino? Why didn't you ask Ray Rice? Why didn't you say to Ray Rice, Ray, look, we really want to give you the benefit of the doubt here. We understand what you're saying. We understand that you've got a clean record. We understand everybody's vouching for you. We understand your wife has made an impassioned plea for us to not impose significant discipline. But we need to see the tape. I mean, Ray, you understand we need to see the tape. And see, you've hired a lawyer who's acquired the tape, and he works for you. And the file that he has that has Ray Rice's name on it, that's your property. So all you have to do is say to that lawyer, I want the tape because my employer wants to see the tape. So you can either give us the tape or, we're just going to assume the worst. And we're going to assume that tape shows something graphic and sickening and horrible, and your only choice is to give us the tape and let us conclude otherwise. I mean, that never even happened. And the league will privately make arguments about, well, that lawyer was never going to give us the tape. Look, you got to at least ask before you get to the point.
I'm not letting you in my league until I see that, because you know what? If he's telling me the truth, then let me see the videotape. The commissioner is being ambiguous after accusing Ray Rice of being ambiguous.
And here's the thing, Dan. They need to go back and they need to reconstruct their entire investigative process from the bottom to the top. They need to have rules. They need to have procedures. They don't have rules and procedures because the NFL likes to do whatever it wants to do in any given case, and you dare not question them. There's no transcript of the meeting that happened between Ray Rice, Roger Goodell, Ozzie Newsome's in the room, and others. No transcript. So we don't know what Ray Rice said to Roger Goodell. They don't keep transcripts. They need to keep transcripts. They need to have procedures in place. If you are accused of any crime and there's any possibility of video evidence, it's the obligation of the criminal defendant to acquire it and give it to the NFL. That needs to be the requirement in every case. It shouldn't be piecemeal, case by case. We're flying by the seat of our pants, making this up as we go along, guided by our own sense of what we ultimately want to do. The NFL does business all too often that way. Whatever we want to do in this case, and they don't want to be bound by rules because sometimes the rules make you do things you don't want to do.
What happens today? What happens tonight in Baltimore?
How do you get this team on the same page? The coaching staff distracted by this. There's surely dissension in the locker room about what they did to Ray Rice. This whole idea of two punishments for the same incident. I don't know how the Ravens get it together. I'll be shocked if they're able to get it together and play a productive football game against the Steelers.
If we talk on Monday, what has happened to Roger Goodell, if anything?
Well, I don't think anything's happened by Monday unless there's another development. And how can there not be another development? It seems like there's another development every 3 or 4 hours. I think it would be a major upset if there's no development between now and Monday. We don't know what's going to come next. Is somebody going to come out and do an interview with a major network with the dark shadow and the altered voice saying, I showed the video to Roger Goodell? Who the hell knows what's going to happen next?
Thank you, Mike.
See you, buddy.
Mike Florio, ProFootballTalk.com.